Okay, now we want to mix the greens for the distant hills. I'm going to start with a green, our basic cadmium green. Mix a bunch of this. And I want to tone it down with a little bit of our violet. This will give me the distance, this will give me the proper color temperature for trees that far away. And to this color of green, this is my basic green of my trees, I'm going to add the color of the sky at the horizon. And that'll help also to put more distance between us and the trees. So here's my color. Take a little piece of this and add, well, actually add that to the color of the sky. So we can do the light and the shadow. Now, I've told you in the past that it takes 3 values to create a form. Well, when things are far away, 2 values are actually more appropriate. If things are far enough away, you can do it with just 1 value. But this is not that far away. So if you've seen mountains in the distance and they almost appear as a silhouette, well, that's what happens when you get enough distance. They reduce the difference between the values. When we talked about contrast, the values of things far away are very close together. So on those distant mountains, they're close enough, the values, that we don't even see a difference. All right, so here we go. All right, now I want to make a little bit of a rough edge to show the outline of these trees. So that's why I'm approaching it like this. I want the outer contour of this hill or mountain to look like it's got trees on it. And the smaller I make these little bumps, the further away these trees will appear to be. I'm going to leave a little room for the foreground trees. I don't want to paint over those, at least not very much. I also want to leave this sort of roughly painted because this will also help to create texture. The texture of these distant trees, although we can't actually feel it, we should be able to see it. Okay, so now here I've moved over into my shadow color, and now I want to make some little indications. That might be too dark. We'll see. No, that's all right. That'll work. So these are the shadow sides of the distant trees. Now on this side, as in the drawing, we want to have more shadows because this whole side of this hill mountain is in shadow, and we want to create the cone effect. Now I want to carry that somewhat over into the other side, but not as much. There'll be less contrast on the trees and their shadows on this side of the mountain. Now we're thinking in terms of cones again. Many of these trees on here are cones, so I'm trying to make a little triangular shadow shape. So we're hinting at these trees in the distance. Now, I want to be careful not to have any of them that are outstandingly darker than the rest, because that will create a change in the distance, because that will also then create a change in the contrast relationship. Now when I make a painting, landscape in particular, I generally start from the back as I go. And there's, when the paint overlaps itself, it does the same thing that things in reality do. When they are seen in a distance, they overlap each other.